Welcome back to Paperback Ponderings. I know I say this every single time, but this episode is the most exciting episode because we have Pascale Lacelle here with us to answer some questions about a much loved trilogy that Kyla and I have been obsessed with for years. We followed right through to the end, and here we are, just released the third book, Infinite Shores of the Drowned Gods trilogy. Minor spoilers. Spoilers are gonna be unavoidable, so if you haven't read all of the books, or at least the first two books, I would say, maybe pause and come back once you've finished Stranger Skies. But we will do our best to keep the spoilers at a minimum. And Kyla's going to take us away with a little bit of an introduction to Curious Tides before we hop into our burning questions for Pascale.
Yes. So for anybody who hasn't read it yet, Curious Tides follows Emery, who's a student at Aldrin College for Lunar Magics. And in this world, your magic is based on the position of the moon when you were born. So if you were born during the waxing moon, you might have sower powers where you can grow plants. And if you were born in the waning moon, then you might have reaper powers, among other possibilities. So Emery is a healer from House New Moon, and she's beginning her second year, but in the wake of a tragic event at the end of her first year where a group of students went into the nearby Dovermere Sea Caves, and she is the only one who came out alive. So on top of dealing with the grief and trauma of that event and losing her best friend, she has also had a strange new magic since that night that she should not have access to. So in an attempt to gain control of these new abilities, she enlists the help of Baz, who is a reclusive student at Aldrin, who's familiar with the nature of darker magics, and who also happens to be the brother of her drowned best friend. At the same time, she is also determined to find out the truth behind the drownings because she believes that her fellow students were involved in a secret society that led them to the tragic events of that night. And when the drowned students start washing up on the shore alive, only to die horrible magical deaths immediately afterwards, she only has more questions. So, there is a lot for her to figure out. Pascale, can you tell us a little bit about your inspiration for the story and just kind of your path to becoming an author? Because this was your debut, right?
Yes, it was. Well, first of all, great introduction.
Thank you.
The inspiration behind Curious Tides was just that I honestly wanted to write a dark academia fantasy. And I was like, it would be so cool if the college is set, on the seaside. And then that meant, for some reason, okay, tides, the moon, they're related. There you go, you have your magic system. And everything kind of just expanded from there, to be honest. But the magic system was definitely like the first thing that popped into my mind. And I was like, cool, let's build a story around this. I would say like the first sparks of inspiration came from reading books like, I'm thinking about Nine House, The 10,000 Doors of January, for I think obvious reasons once you get past the first book. The Starless Sea and The Magicians, the TV show specifically. Yeah.
Loved all of those books.
Awesome. But yeah, so this was my debut. My path to becoming an author was actually a really long one, but the short version is I started writing Curious Tides in 2020, and then I got into Pitch Wars in 2021. Pitch Wars was like a mentorship program that paired like unpublished writers with published writers or other industry professionals that like help you work on your manuscript. So that was really cool. I was in the very last year that Pitch Wars existed, unfortunately. Yeah, my mentors were Cap Dunn and Sarah Underwood, and yeah, they helped me revise the book. I quarried right after that in like beginning of 2022. Got an agent through Pitch Wars. I think we revised the book like once, went out on submission to editors a few months after that, and got a book deal. And here we are.
Wow.
So yeah.
3 books later.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3 books later. It wasn't supposed to be 3 books, but yeah.
Yes, I do have questions about that because I have a copy of Curious Tides that still says duology in the front.
Yep.
So
You have the like legit first edition.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to ask this a little bit later, but I mean, since we're on the topic, when did you realize it needed to be a trilogy instead of a duology?
I think it was like literally 2 days before handing in maybe the second draft of Stranger Skies, so the second book.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
yeah, it was I was just not having a good time writing that book. Nothing was working, and then I was like, nearing the end, nearing my deadline, and the ending was just I couldn't wrap anything up because it just didn't feel natural to end the story. Like I didn't have enough time with the story, so nothing was working and I was getting frustrated. And I still remember the moment that it like clicked. I was like literally brushing my teeth and like despairing, like deadline, zombie mode. And then I was like, oh, because it's supposed to be a trilogy. So
Hmm.
so yeah. So I finished the draft like not, kind of just like whatever, this is not good, but here are my thoughts for like a third book. What do you think about it? And my editor was like, yeah, sure. So,
Okay.
yay.
I'm curious, like, okay, I don't know if you can answer this question, and it is a little bit of a spoilery question, but like, can you tell us where originally you were thinking to end it and like how that ending evolved?
Like I honestly don't remember much about the original ending except that I know it ended when they like first got to the Sea of Ash, like as like a whole group. I don't even remember why, what, when, but I know the where. Um,
Okay.
and I honestly don't remember how it ended specifically. It didn't make any sense. There are though like tiny, tiny elements of that ending that like kind of bled their way into the new ending, like the current ending. But yeah, it changed completely. It's definitely not the same ending. This one is much better.
Was it a lot of
I don't want to
work?
spoil anything, so
I know, yeah. That was a
Incredibly
very
fair.
spoilery question. I put you on the spot
yeah.
there.
We're gonna avoid spoilers. Kyla asks the most pointed spoiler question.
Yeah, tell us the end.
Yeah. Was it a lot of work submitting this draft that you knew really wasn't the end? Like how much of a lift was it to pivot from that original outline and drafting to okay, now I have a whole
Yeah.
other book of space. Where do I go from here? How do I shift Stranger Skies to conclude in some minuscule way so it feels like a properly rounded book,
Hmm.
but then leave room for Infinite Shores?
A whole other book.
Yeah, a whole other book.
Yeah, what I do remember is like, okay, well, I guess spoilers, but like, unavoidable. At first, Stranger Skies really covered all those other worlds. So like, we saw the Witchwood, the Waste, that fourth one, and then the Sea of Ash, and like, that just was too much. It's too much for one book. So as soon as I figured out how this could progress into like a third book, I knew that where I had to end Stranger Skies would be like after they visited that um the third world, so the waste. And after that, I was like, okay, the rest will be for book three. So once I knew that, it just like was easy to kind of like break down Stranger Skies, get rid of like all the ending where they did in fact get to, the fourth world and then the Sea of Ash. So I threw all that away and then kind of worked my way backwards and fixed the ending so that it could be the opening for Infinite Shores kind of. So
Right.
it wasn't that hard because I really did have a vision for book three, and I was like just really happy that my publisher actually went for it. I think it would have been harder if they'd been like, no, like we don't want a third book. This will be a duology, so like figure it out. I
Right.
think that would have been like much harder. So I'm just glad they said yes. And then I was like, it was like a breath of fresh air, and like suddenly everything was a lot easier because Stranger Skies was just not a pleasant experience to write, mainly because of that. Um, so having that, that green light for book three really helped. So yeah.
I can't imagine like I feel like Stranger Skies would be so long too if you had to wrap it all up in that book.
It's already
Like,
such a long book.
yeah, it's not a short book.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was definitely the right play because I can't imagine the story without the whole direction that it goes in Infinite Shores. Like, it really does wrap it up perfectly. So
Yeah, I'm glad.
I love how you say it like it wasn't that hard to do. And I can just
I mean,
imagine
it
myself
still was,
melting,
but
melting in a sea of pages, being like, how do I fix what I've done?
I definitely had breakdowns, but it was more of like okay, we're on the right track, but yeah, it is what it is.
and knowing what we know about Stranger Skies, so spoilers about Stranger Skies plot here, with the different timelines and time periods that you're writing in, and then all these different realms of reality, and then you've got the story of the drowned gods and stuff that each world sees it as kind of a different story. And how did you keep all that straight while you were writing? What does your plotting
I don't
process
know.
look like?
It's chaos. Like I'm gonna be honest. I try to like keep like a story Bible where like, I keep all my notes, like my world building notes, like for each of the worlds, and then like just character details. It's supposed to be a very helpful document, but it's just chaos. And I feel like I have like 10,000 different story Bibles with like every single draft I like make a new one for some reason, and then I'm like, wait, I thought this was supposed to be like that, and then I just get lost in my own web of whatever. But I try to keep things as organized as I can. Thankfully, my editor is also just really good at remembering stuff from other books too. And I do have my annotated copies of the first two books that are really helpful. I like went through them before actually plotting out Infinite Shores,
Mm.
and like made a bunch of notes to myself and was like, oh yeah, oh I could use this and everything. So that was helpful.
Mm.
But yeah, it's a bit chaotic.
Even just listening to the description, like the blurb of Curious Tides, and then where we ended in Infinite Shores, like I was talking to Kyla before you even hopped on, Pascal, and I was like, we're not going to be able to avoid the spoilers because
No,
there are so many developments that happen in this 3 short books. Short, they're huge.
short
but
books.
that's my way of saying you could
Yeah.
have made, like, this could have been 6 books. You know what I mean? Like, you really
Probably,
had
yeah.
an infinite number of ways that you could have taken this with the developments that you had put
Yeah.
into the plots throughout the books. And I'm so impressed by how you kept it straight and how you
Uh-oh.
introduced like new concepts very seamlessly, because sometimes it could be kind of jarring if a reader doesn't think that it's going this
Yeah.
way, and then it goes wild, and you're wondering how we got here, but none of it felt inauthentic, which
I
is
feel
a
like
kudos to you.
like a lot of it could have been like if you were to reread like book one specifically, I feel like I pulled a lot of elements from that to make Infinite Shores. Like me while rereading Curious Tides,
Mm,
I was like, ooh, I could use this. And I was like, ooh, this will like almost make it seem like I had this plan from the start, but I didn't. You
mm,
know what I mean? Like I think like a lot of things are really subtle in Curious Tides that make the things that happen in Infinite Shores like not too out of the box. But maybe that's just
mm.
me. But yeah.
No, I definitely had moments like that where I was reading Infinite Shores and I was like, oh, did she plan this right from the beginning? Like, what a genius.
I mean, some of it, but like most of it, no. I'm gonna be frank, like no.
Well, you did
Yeah,
good.
you did. I
Thanks.
think I would have
Yeah.
needed like a visual, I would have needed like colored strings or something while I was plotting to just keep everything straight because, yeah, there's so much that happens.
Like that
There's too
meme
much.
of that guy with
Yeah, it was definitely that
the
meme with
board.
like the guy with like the yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Iconic. Oh, that's so good.
So, which of the characters was your favorite to write? We have a few different POVs, so it can be like either from a perspective of writing their POV or just writing them in general.
I I feel like this answer has kind of like been the same for me throughout the entire series, to be honest. Like my
Mm.
favorite character to write has always been Baz consistently. And I think he has the most like satisfying character arc throughout this entire series. Like
Hmm.
he, where he starts off as like really reclusive and like, self-effacing and like doubting his abilities to this hero in the last book. So it was really fun to have him come into his own as this like confident person and like the hero he always had the potential to be. He just never saw it. That was really fun to write. But also Kai has always been like a fun one too, especially in this book in Infinite Shores. He was extremely fun to write. His arc was weirdly cathartic too, to me, like with the lesson, I think, at the heart of it being like ultimately you have to let go of your anger before
Mm.
that anger weighs you down and drowns you and keeps you into the abyss. Spoiler, I guess. And of course, like the relationship was is always fun to write. So I think those two are probably my favorites for that reason. For the hardest, my answer to this for like books one and two would have been Emery. She's just always been hard for me to write. I think part of it is because she's like kind of unlikable and messy and selfish and makes not, always the right choices. But I surprisingly like it was easy to write her in this last book. Um, because I do think that she also has like a really satisfying character arc. So I had a good time with her in this last book, and I especially love writing her and Sidreus's relationship, which I think is like my favorite thing to write in this book.
Yeah.
Um, so not her, but the hardest in this book was definitely Romy slash Athea. Is that a spoiler? Both of them were hard to write. The dynamic between them, again, I think because it boils down to them both being like unlikable characters that are really complex. And Romy, again, doesn't really make the best choices here. But then again, she doesn't really have a choice. So it was like interesting but hard to explore that without making her like too much of a villain. But also, is she to blame for some of it? Yeah. Will you like
Mm.
her by the end? I don't know. It's fine if you don't. But it was hard to write. So yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think one thing I noticed right from the start from Curious Tides is like all the characters are flawed in some way, and it makes them really realistic. And sometimes they're not the most likable. I'm looking at Romy for that.
Yeah.
But she's also very real, and the things that she struggles with, the resentment, the jealousy, are
Mm.
emotions that people really do experience, and that can be
Yeah.
festering inside you, and you don't always see that from the outside. And yeah, so I liked that you explored that with her, and I do like the way
Oh, good.
her character arc progressed.
Mm.
But
Okay, good.
Baz and Kai were my favorite too, though.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if you saw my big nod when you said Baz, but I was like, yep, we liked reading Baz.
Good. I think he's like most people's favorites. I'm happy with that because I'm like, okay, yeah, I think everyone is flawed, like you said, but to me, Baz can do no wrong. So I'm like,
Hmm.
he's the exception to the rule. Everyone else is flawed, but I'm kidding. He's obviously flawed, but
It does feel
yeah.
that way though. Like because his inner, I think like his motivation is not and never was selfish
Mm,
or outward looking as in like I need to be this so people perceive me as this, right? Like
yeah.
his motivation was always just I'm myself, very authentic. Whereas
Oh,
I think that you see Emery struggling a little bit with how she's perceived significantly. And I think
oh
that
yeah.
that's a very real feeling, right? Everyone to a degree feels this way. But you see, I think, more of the flawed pieces of maybe yourself in Emery, and you see
Hmm.
in Baz who you want to be. And so it's
Yep.
very like, it's very
That's funny
easy.
you say that because I feel like that's kind of like the way I wrote them. Like Baz was like always easy to write because it's like, oh, but like I see myself in him, but like the best parts. And then Emery's like, oh, that's like the worst part of me drawn to the surface, and I have to like, so yeah, I get it.
I also do think that her arc was similar to Baz's in the sense that like she stepped into herself. She stepped into
Yeah.
her authentic power and her authentic self. By the end, we got there.
By the end, it took a while.
Yeah, some stumbling blocks along the way,
Yeah.
but that's okay. Everyone's on their own journey.
Yep.
One thing I think you did really well, and I don't know, it's kind of a spoiler, but not really. If you finished Stranger Skies, is Baz's evolution from Emery to Kai.
Yeah.
And at certain points in the story, like that intrigue was driving my entire motivation. I was like, where are we going with this? Like, how is this going to play out? And I thought that you wrote some really amazing, messy relationships in the sense that sometimes you don't know all of the ways that you feel before you embark on an exploration of understanding someone else or whether they're going to be your person. Was that always what you planned?
Good question. I think I always knew that like Emery and Baz were not, this is a spoiler, they're not ending. Like I feel like it's obvious by book two, but like maybe not. But anyway. I just when I first was working on Curious Tides, I mean, I didn't really have the second book all that planned out in my head. Like I knew Emery would go off and see the other worlds and that Baz would stay behind. So to me, that was always something that would get in their way, of course. And I knew that the whole part about Emery kind of using him and him being infatuated with her, but then them growing apart and realizing like, oh, maybe this wasn't really what I wanted. I always had that element in my head. I just didn't know how it would pan out. The Kai factor of it all, he was just always there from the very beginning of like the first drafts of Curious Tides. And there was always something between him and Baz that I could never put my finger on. And I was like, what? Like, what's happening? And then I remember I was querying. So I had a call with one of the agents who had offered, not my current one, another one, but and she brought it up. She was like, "So Baz and Kai," and I was like, "Yeah." And it was just I don't know. I guess she kind of touched on something that had been bothering me because I was like, "What is this?" And then it just like kind of clicked, and I was like, "Oh, well, duh." So it just like made sense, and I was like, "Yeah, it was always there. You just had to put the pieces together." So from then on, it was like, "Yeah, obviously, it just makes way much more sense for them."
I kind of love that.
Yeah.
It's like it almost makes it even more authentic, the development of their relationship, because it just kind of did happen naturally. And it sounds like you had very much kind of the same experience that Baz did in the book.
Yeah.
Where he was like,
I was like, oh, you've always been there. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually. Yeah, that's true.
So we did Curious Tides as a book club pick for the podcast a couple years ago, back.
Nice.
I think shortly before Stranger Skies came out. And so I was listening to our episode before I started Infinite Shores just to kind of jog my memory on some stuff. And we were talking in the episode like, I think Baz is going to fall for Kai. And so I was listening to that knowing what happened in Stranger Skies. And it was like, oh, yes.
You're like, we had it right.
The Easter eggs were there the whole time.
Yeah. I think now if people were to read Curious Tides again, it's like fairly obvious that it's always been there. Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to reread it at some point and just see what I pick up on knowing the full story. But yeah, even from the beginning, I think it was a really interesting character exploration in the way that Emery uses people and then the way that she is used and how that shapes her and how she starts to treat people going forward. And she's like, her romance with Kieran as well is very, from my perspective, I was like, ooh, I don't know if I trust him. But her falling for that type of character is also very realistic of young love and the type of people you fall for. So
I think so. I like speaking from experience, I guess. It's come on.
Yeah.
He's charming. He says all the right things. You're like, yeah. Does the reader know it's not healthy? Of course. I mean, I hope so. But yeah.
Are you secretly like kind of drawn to it? Yes.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Come on.
I think like part of the just like calling back to what Kyla was referring to when we're like, I think Kyan Bass, like there might be something like one thing you do really well and you see through every single book is friendships. So there's like a real foundation of friendship in a lot of the established couples, I suppose, that we
Right.
end with by the third book. That it makes it really difficult as the reader to kind of gauge, is this a friend who there's like deep love for, or could there be more? And I think like part of the reason why there was the question mark of like, could it be Kai for Baz, is they had that established friendship
Yeah.
first and there was a little bit of ambiguity there. And I loved that because often it's very easy to just pick out the couples, right? Like from the beginning,
Right.
typically, in a lot of books, or at least books that we tend to read, the couple is set in stone, like from the beginning. It's even in the blurb, really.
Mhm.
The blurb says who the couple's gonna be.
Yeah.
So there's no like keeping the reader on the feet. It's like, oh well, we're gonna get there. It's just how we get there. Whereas
Mm.
in these books, it wasn't a we're gonna get there. We weren't sure. There were some really tricky moments in all of these books where you're like, I know they love each other, but is this gonna happen? Like, where are we going here? And I think I absolutely love that.
Mhm.
Like romance is messy, so I feel like it just makes sense. But yeah, I don't know. Like, first of all, like this series is not like a romantasy, so
Mm.
I feel like it gives more freedom maybe to like stray from what people thought the like main couple was or whatever. Whereas like I guess if you're like doing romantasy, there's certain genre conventions and it just makes more sense to like stick with the like couple that's expected and like in the blurb, like you said.
Mm.
But I don't know. I like the surprise element of it, I guess. But it's funny to me whenever I see people be like, "Oh, the love triangle and like Baz and Emery aren't good for each other," and blah blah blah. Like after just reading the first one, and I'm like, But that's the point.
Yeah.
Keep going because they're not. First of all,
Mhm.
Kieran is out of the picture again. I guess spoiler. You know. Anyway. Wow.
Yeah, I think having the false start relationship a little bit is a great way to show growth too in the characters
Mm,
because you're realizing what's wrong and what you need more as a person. And yeah,
yeah.
so pivoting a little bit, I wanted to ask you if you could choose a lunar house and tidal alignment magic for yourself, which one would you choose?
Feel like my obvious answer is dreamer. I mean, how cool would it be to, go into the sleepscape and go into people's dreams and link up with other dreamers and nightmare weavers? Like, that's fun. But the last time I did the quiz, I got Reaper, so
Oh,
I
I
don't
didn't know there was a
There's a
quiz.
what I got.
quiz?
Yeah. It's
That's
on
so fun.
simonteen.com. You can go and like enter your like birth date and time and birthplace, whatever, and then it gives you whatever the moon phase was. And yeah.
That's so fun. Definitely going to do
Yeah,
that right after this.
you have to, yeah.
I know my
Yeah.
So
plans.
my answer is dreamer, but apparently I'm a reaper. So, death.
Well, but we
Woo.
know from the book that Reapers have a very important role to play too. And
Yeah,
yeah.
I like their magic, but I was like, oh, really?
Yeah.
Which one would you guys want?
Ooh.
I think the omnilinguist one is really cool and would also be very
Ooh.
useful in our world.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's a good one.
But
Yeah.
also, the sower is also really cool. I'm not the greatest with plants. I would
Me
love if
neither.
they would grow faster.
Mm.
I would
um,
just love to not kill them. Oh, there you go, Reaper.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I think the time spinner, like,
Mm,
And it feels a little bit like, ooh, the flashy power. Of course you want
Uh,
the flashy
you're
power.
allowed that.
But sometimes I lose track of time, and by sometimes I mean all the time. And
Hopefully this would help.
yeah, I think so. I wouldn't need it for any like hopefully, dire circumstances in which I need to save lives or anything, but it
Yeah,
would be super helpful to get like an extra 5 minutes before work in the morning
that's
or
a very
even like
Baz answer, I feel. Yeah, like that's, yeah, there you go.
more
Time spinner.
practical.
Boom.
It's just
Honestly,
Yeah,
practical.
I would like the time spinner just so that I don't have to heat up my tea every 10 minutes.
again,
Mm.
a very Baz answer.
Yeah.
I love it.
Baz has
Yeah.
it right.
Yeah.
Okay, on that note of favorites, I think I probably know your answer to this one, but you created 4 really cool and really unique worlds. If you could live in one of them, which one would you choose? Slash, or just in general, which one's your favorite?
No, I've never been asked this question and I don't know.
Mm.
I mean, I do love a seaside, so I feel like
Mm.
the lunar world would be my like obvious choice. But out of the other three, I feel like I would probably not be well suited for the waste,
Fair.
but monsters and the desert and I don't know. I think I have like a little soft spot for the witchwood, I'm not gonna lie.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
So I think that would be my answer. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think probably the same. I like first choice would be the lunar world. I was so enchanted by the atmosphere of the world, but the Witchwood is really cool too. The wastes are a world that I really like reading about on a page, but probably wouldn't want to go
Yeah,
there.
exactly. Same.
Yeah, I would say the Witchwood too. Even maybe over the lunar world. I don't know.
Oh,
I
yeah?
loved the
Whoa.
atmosphere. It was very like I know this was
Witchy.
probably not what you were going for, but I want to say like the originals in the sense that like it was very
Oh.
like I was just picturing and there was this show that I watched when I was really young. I don't know, I think it got discontinued, but there was something about the atmosphere in my mind that I saw and the feeling I got from that show couldn't tell you what it was now in terms of the show.
Oh
But
no.
it was just like very nostalgic. It felt
Cool.
nostalgic
I
for
love
me
that.
for some
Yeah.
reason. I have
All
no
right.
explanation beyond that.
That's okay.
No
Feeling is
explanation
all
needed.
good.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Did you know that you always wanted to have parallel worlds and this sort of setup? Or I guess did you know that you always wanted to like flesh out these worlds? I think it's clear
Yeah.
that we wanted parallel worlds or
Yeah.
alternate worlds. But did you always know like that each one was going to be the way that it was and it was going to be so built out and so like elaborate? Is that something that you had a vision for each of these? Is there anyone that kind of
Yeah.
surprised you or came to fruition? No, we just knew this is the direction.
Yeah. I feel like the particulars of the magic in each world definitely like came later, but like the general vibe was definitely something that was there from the start. I even had like mood boards for each one and like honestly they like didn't change all that much. I knew I wanted to like I wanted like each world to like kind of represent an element like
Mm.
baseline like water for the lunar world, obviously earth, fire, air. I was like, what's the
Mhm.
elements? Um, and yeah, just the general vibes. I always knew that's what it would be. My the like original idea I had for this series was that each book would have been set in a different world. So like in my mind there would have been 4 books and then it would all be like told from a different main character's point of view. So like after this first one, we wouldn't see Emery and Baz. We would just like be thrown into the Witchwood and like I guess from the point of view of I mean, I didn't have the characters in
Mm.
mind at that point, but probably like Aspen. So that was the idea. And I was like, yeah, that's so cool. But then as I wrote Curious Tides and as like I, revised it and fleshed it out, I was like, but I like this world and I like these characters and these are the characters that I want to follow through this entire journey because the plan was always to have all these key characters tell their own stories and then it all comes together in some way at the end. In some way being the key words here. I had no clue what I was doing. But yeah, so then when it came time to like actually pitch this as a series to publishers, I was like, no, no, this is a 2-book series and it follows the same characters and we're gonna go visit the other world in this second book. Thank God we got 3, but yeah. So yeah, that was the idea. So yes, there was always a plan to like flesh these worlds out. I didn't do it as much as I initially thought, but I still like that idea.
I see. So we reeled back. It is in fact
Yeah.
the case where we had to reel ourselves in from
Yeah.
the complete atmosphere
I just
and
I just
setting.
like didn't think it made sense for this story I was setting out to tell. But yeah, reel it back sometimes. It helps.
Mm.
Well, okay, on that note, so the series is complete. Do you see yourself ever going back and setting a spin-off in one of these other worlds, or just any kind of revisit to the world at all?
I mean, like I won't say never. And I do think the ending is open-ended enough that there could potentially be a continuation or spin-off or whatever. I have no idea what that would look like. So I'm not gonna force anything. But yeah, I would be interested in spending more time in those other worlds and explore them deeper and spend more time with, the characters from those worlds that we maybe didn't see a lot of in this third book for reasons. Um, so yeah, you never
Yeah,
know.
absolutely. Okay. Yeah, I think that'd be really cool. I mean, I don't know. I have no idea where you would go plot direction, because after everything that has
Yeah.
happened here, it feels like this is kind of the grand plot of all the worlds. But I would be super interested to read more in the other worlds and even more in the lunar world, because we only really saw
Hmm.
that one Elegy, I think, is the
Yeah.
island. Yeah,
Yes.
so
Yeah.
there's much more
There's
to
a
be
whole other
explored.
world. Yeah. But
Mhm.
I feel like I like set myself up for like the potential of much more, but the brain is empty. I'm like, no, no, let's move on. And if
You're like
ever
untapped.
inspiration comes knocking, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You
Cool.
did. You
Okay.
did set yourself up very well. And also I find like every character felt like they could have been important. Like
Mhm.
every new character that we
Oh, I love
introduced
that.
along the way, there were enough indicators that there was something about this character
Hmm.
that was worth paying attention to or
Oh,
knowing in some way. So the fact that you've done that with basically every character that we cross in our journey makes the options and the possibilities infinite. Like you could do
I love
whatever
that.
you wanted. We would
Yeah.
follow.
Oh, I
Hmm.
love that. Thank
Mhm.
you.
Yeah, I love that you had the Pinterest board too. And did you have like music playing to get you in the headspace of the worlds?
I didn't have a specific playlist for each world, but I did have like a specific playlist for each book. That could have been a good idea though, to have a playlist for each world. I'm like, oh, missed opportunity. Oh well.
That also could have ended up being like a procrastination tactic where you're just
Oh,
spending all your time building the
100%.
playlist.
Yeah,
That would have been me for sure.
absolutely.
I still can't get over the fact that like this very elaborate and like incredibly complex story and plot is the first series that you've released to the world. Like, where are we going from here? Because this was so ambitious. It did not feel at all like this was the story of someone who's new to publishing. It really
Aw,
did not feel
thank you.
like it whatsoever. How fun was it to come up with the stories and even like the Song of the Drowned Gods and all of the like in
Mm,
between, like it
that
felt
was the
like you were
best
just,
part, honestly.
yeah, that was so, it felt so magical and immersive to be dropped into those sections of the books. Like, how fun was it to do that?
World building is like literally my favorite thing to do. Like that's the most fun I have when writing. And I've been doing it for a while. Like this is my first published series, but I started writing when I was like 13 and like the first thing I wrote ended up being like a 3 or 4 book series with I think there was 12 different realms and like and, like multiple gods and like so it's not something that's new to me, but it's something I've always had fun doing, like building these worlds and building these magic systems. So this felt like a culmination of all of those years of doing it badly. And then I was like, okay, wait, I'm onto something now. And then it all worked out. But yeah, those like writing the Song of the Drowned Gods interstitial, like the little snippets and everything, and thinking about the other worlds and the magic systems, that's always my favorite part. And so I'm glad it comes across. That's fun.
If it was fun. It was
Yeah.
fun to consume, but I could tell you were just like giving you were giving free rein to your childhood self. You
Yeah,
were like,
yeah,
we are gonna do
definitely.
whatever we want here, and we're gonna be
Yep.
as creative as we can be. And I loved it.
Yep.
The
Yay.
magic system too. I know I mentioned earlier using the time spinner abilities to reheat tea, but I loved reading that because I had never imagined, like, you hear somebody who has time control powers and you think, they just turn back time all around them or pause time, but I've never considered the fact that you could spin back time on a specific item or a specific
Yeah.
very specific thing. So I was like, wow, that is so cool.
I don't know how I came up with that, but I was like, okay, but Baz is like, yes, he has this incredible magical power, but like he's Baz. Like the point of him is he doesn't want to use that power. And if he does use it, he uses it for all these small little things. And I don't know how the turning back time on specific objects came to me, but I was like, I don't want him to pull back time for everyone and everything whenever he does this one small thing. So what if you can like focalize it on this one specific thing? And I just think it makes sense. Is it logical? Who knows? But it's, magic. So
Yeah, it doesn't need
Is
to be
any of it
logical.
logical?
yeah.
That's the beauty.
So
That's the beauty in it.
yeah.
So, was there any scene or character arc that surprised you or developed in a direction that you did not anticipate?
This is the part where like I can't say what I want to say because it's like spoiler. So I'll try to keep it spoiler free-ish. But there is this one specific scene at the end of Infinite Shores with Emery's mom, that had a completely different outcome up until like the very, very last draft. And it was like a sad outcome. If you're getting
I'm
my
picking it up.
yes, thank you. But I sent that draft to a writer friend of mine, and she read that version and just mentioned like how devastating it was. And I was like, you're right though. And I kind of like rethought things through, and it actually like made other pieces of the ending click into place for me. So yeah, it was like two different, very different outcomes. And I went back to my editor. First of all, like shout out Hannah, who is my friend. Like, thank you. The book is so much better because of that. So I went to my editor and I was like, okay, I know this is like so last minute, but I don't think this works. And like, what do you think about not doing this devastating ending for Emery's mom? And she was like, I don't know. I kind of like what you had, and I don't know if that's gonna work. And I was like, no, I'm gonna write it because I have the vision now, and we'll see. And I wrote it. I cried writing it. It was somehow more like sadder. Can I like say it, or is it too spoil like?
You can go ahead. Anybody listening, spoiler warning.
Yeah. So Emery's mom died in that first version, but then she doesn't die. But it's somehow more of an emotional impact to have her not die. I don't know. I was like bawling. I was like, "This is so good." I sent it to my editor, and she was like, "No, you're right. This is what we're going with." So I don't know. It just worked better, and then like more pieces of the ending sequence fell into place because of that. And I can't remember what, but it just like everything made sense.
Did it have like an impact on where you ultimately took Emery's story at
No.
the end? No, that was
always set in stone. Yeah.
Okay.
But it made that decision more impactful. Like it had more of an added emotional weight to that for sure. So yeah, that was surprising and very last minute. So I'm glad we made it work. But yeah.
Yeah. I liked how you still included the scene because it happened and I was like, oh my God. And then
But even the scene is different because like it used to be like I don't know, I don't remember now how she died, but it was not even a satisfying death, I feel. So I was like, okay, it's either I make it more satisfying or we go this route, and like that ended up much more satisfying. But
okay, interesting. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I love too how Kai and Luce had such a bond that grew because they spent so much time together. And it wasn't just like, oh, Kai and Emery's mom. It was like Luce was his friend too.
Yes, yeah. I love their friendship. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
it wasn't I wouldn't say it was like one of those things that surprised me because I feel like it started a bit in Stranger Skies, but like it was fun to write for sure.
Yeah.
Other thing that was surprising was Virgil and Vera. I didn't set out to have something happen between them, but I was like, that could be cute. Yeah, that's just fun. And they're like, I don't know. I thought they fit well together. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they had a good relationship. The vibes were always
Yeah.
vibing there.
The vibes. Yeah. I feel like they are kind of similar-ish in some ways. I was like, you know what? That could be fun. So yeah.
We'll give them that
Yeah.
happy.
They deserve that.
Deserve it. Yeah.
Someone does. Like
Yes.
It did feel like we were not going to get our happy ending multiple times. I was talking to Kyla, first of all, on the topic of Luce, since we've let that cat out of the bag. The whole time I was like, how is Luce still alive? I don't know how she's made it this far. And then when we got to that scene, I was like, oh my gosh, I spoke too soon. We're going to lose Luce. And then we didn't, but it was like an emotional roller coaster of like, this woman has been through up, down, all around.
Yeah.
She has been everywhere.
Through time.
Through time, we thought we lost
Yep.
her. We found her. We lost her again. We found her again. Like the emotional roller coaster that was Luce and Emery not quite getting that moment.
Yeah.
And just
Yeah.
like praying that it happens, and then when it happens, losing her. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, such a
Oh.
hard hitter, that one. I was unexpectedly invested in Luce's story.
I love that.
So
I
I'm
think
glad she
like
made
the
it.
the whole like relationship with her and Emery was like fun to like explore and like took me down a path with Emery that I didn't like know about, like how she felt about her mother. Like it was a chance to explore that a lot more. And I think it informed Emery's character a lot. So it was fun to dive deeper into that. And I'm glad people are attached to her. So
Yeah. It was such a fun surprise to find her in the past in Stranger Skies when Baz and Kai got there. Yeah. Loved that. The whole Baz and Kai in the past timeline at Aldrin with Clover and Cordy, loved it. So good.
I love it too. I love a good time travel. Sorry, that was
Yes.
always something I wanted to explore in Stranger Skies for sure.
That was my favorite part of Stranger Skies, actually, was that
Yay.
entire storyline. I mean, there was a lot of fun things happening in Stranger Skies, but I really was highly invested in the evolution of Baz and Kai.
Sarah
Oh,
actually texted me, I remember this, when she was reading Stranger Skies, and she was like, all capitals, Baz and Kai, yes!
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite thing is like when readers finish Stranger Skies and they're like, "You better reunite them," and I'm like, "Calm down, like, if you let anything happen to my," and I'm like, "Yeah, like, you're good." Yeah.
Sarah, did you have more questions before we talk about what's next?
No more questions, just a lot of statements. A lot of
I know.
like, this was so good, that was so good.
We could do that all day.
Oh, thank you.
It was, yeah, I want to emphasize, like, I know that this is not your first rodeo, but it was just like such an elaborate, unexpected, magical, immersive experience to go through these three
Thank
books.
you.
And they're beautiful. They're so beautiful. Both like the words on the pages and the covers.
The physical, yeah.
The
covers.
covers, like the
So
whole thing.
I'm really glad with the covers. Yeah, they're really really pretty.
They're so beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like, and we didn't even really touch on the eclipse magic and the persecution of eclipse born. Like, I wanted to talk about that, but I didn't really know what question to ask, so I didn't want to just be like, this was cool. But yes, like, I just loved the way you did that and how you had the society divided and fearing the eclipse born because they were unpredictable, and the way that the plot developed in terms of the divide between people and wanting to educate people about Eclipse Born. And yeah,
Thank you.
not a question, I know, but just appreciation.
No, I did have fun exploring that, especially in Infinite Shorts. I think it was important to do with the current climate, especially.
Mhm.
But yeah, so I that was fun to explore through Emery, both Emery and Baz, but it was interesting to explore through Emery because she does start off Curious Tides as like someone who's like very much afraid of eclipse magic too, and I'm
Mhm.
not a tide call, I'm not eclipse born. What do you mean? And by the end she's like rah rah eclipse, so
Mhm.
yeah, that was fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I loved how she embraced the eclipse magic and you got to see those
Yeah,
friendship scenes and community.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was fun to write.
And even Kai, going back to Kai, my favorite, even Kai's picking up the torch of rights
Mm,
for Eclipse Born, like through his experience and the persecution that he had
mm,
faced at the Institute. You really see that advocacy and that solidarity kind of born in Kai, and he becomes a
yeah.
really pivotal character for Eclipse Born rights.
I feel like he's like always been that kind of, but like more like not really low key, but like maybe like, for like selfish reasons. In Curious Tides, he's like, I don't believe in collapsing, so I'm just gonna make myself collapse, and like
Yeah.
prove something. And like, but yes, by the end, he's very much like, I'm doing this, for like everyone and not just
Mhm.
myself.
It feels like his anger is focused. Like his
Yeah,
anger becomes
exactly. Like the
focused.
focusing of his anger. Yeah. And I feel like that's the best way to illustrate that. And I don't think you see that scene all that much in Infinite Shorts. At some point I had to, keep the book the book somewhat short. But like him burning down the institute kind of like that's symbolic of a big, you all did this to me and I'm gonna do this to you. So
Yeah.
yeah.
That was
Yeah.
a very satisfying moment. Seeing Kai just, again, the focusing of his rage, making it into something that's productive instead of
Channel that
destructive.
energy. Like, yeah,
Mhm.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so the trilogy is complete, and we know that you have announced Stars Incarnate, your next book.
Yeah.
Can you tell us more about what that's going to be about and what we can expect from it?
Yeah. So, Stars Incarnate is the first book in a duology for real. I would like to put emphasis on that because, like, first of all, I'm never writing a trilogy again. Again, never say never, but like that was hard. That was hard. And like, I know the ending of this duology. Like, I went in knowing the ending.
Mm.
So I have both books mapped out. There's no room for adding a third one. I don't want a third
Okay.
one. So like, and if I do have more ideas, I'm going to limit myself because like, no, this is a duology. So yeah, it's basically a post-apocalyptic fantasy where fallen stars are the cause of a supernatural apocalypse, and our main character Fen is training to hunt down the eldritch monsters that now stalk the land following that apocalypse. But she is hiding a deadly secret from the other hunters, specifically from Warren, who is one of the best hunters, and they have, a mysterious connection. They have some flirty banter, and I can't say much more. I mean, it's still very much in like the early stages. I literally just sent the first draft to my editor two weeks ago, and haven't gotten notes back yet or anything. So like it could expand into something completely different, not completely different, but yeah, I won't say much more on that.
It could evolve. It could evolve. There's
Yeah,
space
you
there.
never know. I can say like it was inspired by like a lot of early 2010s YA, fantasy, paranormal,
Love it.
post-apocalyptic books. Things like things like The Hundred just for like the vibes.
Love it.
Um,
Yeah.
Vampire Academy,
Yes.
the Host. I love that movie.
Love the host too. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I feel
So, yeah.
overwhelmed.
So that's what I can say.
That is so exciting.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. I'm like I had fun writing the first draft and I'm like, yeah. it can be hard after, especially a trilogy, to like say goodbye to those characters, that world, those worlds, and jump into something completely new. But at the same time, this isn't completely new to me. This book I've been working on since high school-ish, like end of high school. Like it's
Mm.
like the main idea of Fallen Stars apocalypse, not necessarily apocalypse. It wasn't post-apocalyptic at first, but the concept of fallen stars and like magic stemming from that is something that's been in my mind for a long time. It's completely changed from like the original idea, but it feels fun to like finally write this book. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm excited for it.
Okay.
That is, I mean, I don't have other words other than excitement, but what I was going to say is like Kyla and I have been yearning for, and I think readers of the world are yearning for that era a little bit.
Right? It was
Especially
such a
our
good era.
generation.
So good.
Yes.
And that was like
So
a
I hope I
hugely
can do it
informative
justice.
time. Yeah, like
Yeah.
that is, we need more of that era. I think I'll be the first to buy this one.
Yes.
I'm
Yeah.
incredibly excited.
2027 sometime.
Do you
Yeah.
think what stage is the cover design at?
Haven't even heard anything
Oh,
about that
okay.
yet.
Okay.
So yeah, probably it probably won't be until like later in the year. So yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I'm
I'm just excited to get notes back and
Yeah,
dive
yeah.
right in. Like, yeah.
Yeah. It must be so fun to get your first editorial notes back. I mean,
Yeah,
maybe
because at this
maybe
point, like, I
stressful.
have no idea what my editor even thinks about this project. Like, I know she loves it enough that, my publisher bought it, but like,
Yeah.
I have zero idea of what her own vision for it is, what her thoughts are. So I'm like really excited. This is the same editor that worked on the Drown Gods trilogy. So I feel like we, have a nice working relationship at this point. I've been
Mhm.
working with her since 2022. So I like
Yeah.
trust her implicitly, and I want her to like tear this book up almost. I'm like, yeah, I'm ready. Like, I want this to be so good. Just give me all your criticism and your feedback. I can take it. And so I'm excited.
That's such a good mentality to have, because I feel like it would be hard to you created this thing and then to have to rip it to shreds. Like,
Yeah. I
yeah,
mean,
so
at some point you get used to it once you get through like so many edit letters. You're like, okay, yeah, it's
it's
fine.
fine.
Yeah.
It's like the callus. I always say like it's got to be so vulnerable to release this work into the world, right? Like these
Yeah.
are your thoughts and there are pieces that you put into it, I'm sure, of yourself, and you just invest so much of your life into these worlds, into these characters, into these books, and then you at some point have to give it away to the world. It's like
Yeah.
any great art, right? You give it away and it's not yours anymore, but now
Exactly.
you have to like have the callus built to receive that, maybe with guardrails, because you don't need to know all the things that people are saying about this passion that you have.
Oh yeah, I don't look at a negative reviews. If I do look at reviews, I like filter them to like 5 and 4 stars, and I'm like, yay,
Yeah.
all good things. Like,
That's the mentality. Yes.
oh yeah.
But I imagine this process, like the editing process, builds that callus a little bit.
Oh,
Like,
for
it
sure.
makes it a lot more tolerable to them.
You have to, and like I feel like you just have to like be ready to like kill your darlings, and like by that I mean like not necessarily kill your characters, but like let go of like you know plot points you thought were working but are not, or like like it's you have to be able to like let stuff go and like make room for whatever is working better or will make this better. So yeah, it's a process. You get used to it after a while, but it's always a little overwhelming when you open an edit letter and it's 10 pages of like, what about this? And like, what's this? And you're like, I don't know, I don't have the answers. And then you have to find the answers, and yeah. So,
Well, we're very excited. Very excited.
Yes,
for
super excited.
2027.
Yeah.
Like I said, no other words other than like, heck yeah. That sounds
yes,
great.
that's what we want to hear.
You have two advocates and readers.
Woo.
I'm gonna have a whole shelf just dedicated to you at some point with the
Oh my
amount of
gosh.
copies I'm building up here.
Oh, thank you.
I did want to ask as well, so you're a fantasy author. What fantasy books or books in general have you been loving lately, or what books do you always like to recommend?
I wrote these down because when I get asked this question, it's like, I forget
Yep.
like literally everything. So I wrote them down. So I just finished an arc of Moth's Blood by Lin D. Jung, which is incredible. It's adult dark academia fantasy. It's set in
Mm.
France at a university for like alchemists. It's so
Mm.
good. It like kept me on my toes. I didn't know what was happening half the time. It's so well written. It's so good. Highly, highly recommend.
Okay.
And then currently I'm reading another arc. That's the perks of being an author. You get all these arcs and then you're like, this is all I'm reading right now. Um, so this one is a young adult fantasy. It's called A Dangerous Bargain by Erin Cotter. It's set in Florence during the Italian Renaissance. And it's
Mm.
like artists can bargain with angels to get like more skills, more talent, and
Mm.
whatnot. And it's so creative. It's so good. It follows this main character called Virgil, who's an artist at this artist workshop, and his rival is a young Leonardo da Vinci, which is like
Okay.
incredible. It's so good. I think it comes out later this year. And then someone I will always recommend is like literally anything by Amal El-Matar,
Mm.
who did This Is How You Lose the Time War. She just has the kind of writing that makes you want to like throw the book across the room because it's just so gorgeous. I
Mm.
felt that especially with The River Has Roots, which is incredible. And if you love audiobooks, I would like highly suggest listening to the audiobook of it because it's like a
Ooh.
full-blown production. Like there's music, there's singing involved. It's great. It's great. And it's such a beautiful story. So yeah, those are my recommendations.
I
Oh.
just listened to The River Has Roots audiobook a couple months ago, and yes, you're so right.
Isn't it
So beautiful with the
good?
songs in the background. It's
Yes.
very enchanting.
Yeah,
Coming from
so I
her,
went to her event last week in Ottawa, and like I didn't know this, but like the people playing the instruments in the audiobook is Amal and her sister.
Really?
How cool is that? Yeah.
That is so
So
cool.
I know.
Wow.
Honestly, best audiobook ever.
oh,
Yeah, that takes it to a whole new level, especially because the book is
Right?
about sisters. Like,
Yes.
wow.
It's incredible.
That's so cool. I think she's based out of Ottawa too, isn't she?
She is, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I feel like there's a lot of I mean, there's hidden authors everywhere, but I do feel
Right?
like there's quite a wonderful community in Ottawa of
Hmm.
of
I feel like I'm like just discovering this. Like I didn't know there were that many authors in Ottawa, and I was like, oh, that's fun. Like, sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I
it's
think
great.
we are too.
Yeah.
Over the
Except
last couple of
putting
years.
Ottawa on the map.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
So I guess before we wrap up, we'll just ask for anybody listening who does not follow you online already, where can they find you?
I'm only on Instagram these days at Pascale Lacelle. Yeah.
All right, awesome.
Well,
no,
thank
thank
you for
you.
having me. This was really fun.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us. It was an honor to chat with you after loving your books for so
Yeah.
many years now. Anybody listening, thanks for listening. And
Thank
reach
you.
out to us and Pascale on Instagram if you have any more questions or want to share your thoughts. And we will see you next week.
Awesome. Thank you.